seated right there.
Wow. Dan, have you ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire?
I did, yes.
What's the most famous line in it?
I know what you're talking about. What is the line? I do can't.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Yeah, okay, here, I got it. Actually, yeah, I'll write this for you now. I got it, yeah.
I'm sorry.
You want Lawrence or Larry?
Lawrence on mine.
You have the name to the other two. I know it.
Yeah. Who's your bank, by the way?
Walden Federal. Larry or Lawrence?
Lawrence. L-A-W-R-E-N-C-E.
Okay. And
5,000?
was it?
The
Oh, yeah,
notes
yeah,
are
yeah,
5,000.
yeah, right, that was it.
And actually, the Salvation Army said that just make it out to the Salvation Army, and that way they can actually use it where they have the more need.
Salvation Army.
Of Duluth.
Who's the other one for?
Boys and Girls Club of Duluth.
You know people that do those things, or just you just came up with those?
No, actually, Duluth is a very charitable city when it comes to taking care of those. And I just figured those would be the two that would be best served. Now, should I ask for ID?
Ready? We can go.
I'm like, what did you say, Rob? What did Rob say last night? He said that would be the worst thing in the world to have a bad check.
You were asking me.
Yeah,
A lot of check bouncing. Okay, Larry, we're just going to do a quick
Okay.
sound test. Sound check.
Okay.
Just a second here.
Why is this chair different than that chair?
Another doctor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Larry, just give me like a test, you know, a standard test.
Like, what would you want me to say? Like,
Test. My name is Larry Sinclair. I'm here, you know, to...
My name is Larry Sinclair. I'm here to actually win this challenge and be proven to be telling the truth. How's that for a test?
Normal test. Normal test. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, testing. 1, 2, 3. You can erase that. Yep.
explain what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
I'm going to teach you how a polygraph works,
Okay.
so that you understand the process. Then I'm going to ask you a little bit about yourself, some background information, where you grew up, what you've done for a living.
Okay.
Then we'll talk about this issue or situation that brought you to my office here today, and we'll spend some time discussing every aspect of it to be completely comfortable with what you're saying.
Okay.
Then we'll put together questions for the polygraph test. All the questions are reviewed with you before the test. There are no hidden questions or trick questions. Then we'll run the exam.
Okay.
We're going to start off with a release form that gets the results to the gentleman you came with, Mr. Parisi.
Uh-huh.
And this indicates that you're taking the test voluntarily, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, you're a quick reader. Do you have a driver's license or some identification?
I have my U.S. passport, but I would prefer it not to be on camera, please.
No, I just want to make sure that I'm examining somebody that is who he says he is.
No, I understand that.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Some ground rules. You're not here against your will, which means that if you want to get up and leave, you can do that at any time.
Okay.
If you're thirsty, let me know and we'll get some water. If you're hungry, we'll get some food. If you don't feel well, I want you to tell me.
Okay.
I've been doing this 100 years. If there's any questions that you have, I want you to ask me as we go along, because I want you to feel completely comfortable with the situation.
Okay. Can I ask one question before we go any further?
Of course.
My biggest question and concern is, as I stated to Mr. Parisi, as well as a whole bunch of other people, that you assure me that you have no political connections whatsoever with either of the major parties or candidates.
Well, I don't think it's anybody's business but my own, but I'm a registered nothing.
Okay.
I'm the guy they don't let vote in the what do they call
the
that?
primaries or
The primary, because I'm undeclared.
Okay.
That's my political. That's my political standing. I just went into the voting booth the other day and they said, "Why are you here? Only the real people can vote." And I got a ballot that had two measures about funding or something, and that was it. No, I'm a registered nothing.
Okay. No,
But feel free to ask the questions.
Yeah, no, your political affiliation wasn't my concern as much as that, you know, like I told everyone, I don't want to be seen as, you know, going to people who are, you know, connected or contributors to. Exactly. I'm trying to keep this as open and unbiased and unpartisan as possible, but that was my only question.
Okay, well, that's the answer to that.
Thank you.
Now, Larry, let's get the basics out of the way. Are you in any kind of pain right at this point?
I mean, nothing outside of what's normal now.
Okay. How much sleep did you get last night?
About 5 hours.
Is that normal for you?
Actually, it's a little better than what I've normally been getting, so I did good last night.
Good. Have you ever been tested by a polygraph before?
Years ago, back in the early 80s.
What was that in connection with?
Some people that I knew disliked a corrections officer, police officer, whatever, and he wanted to try to screw up his marriage, and I guess he was in the process of a divorce, so they filed a fake palimony claim using my name, which I had nothing to do with, I had no knowledge of, and I testified in the court to that effect that I never filed the claim. The clerk of the court even testified that I was not the one to file it, and that was pretty much it. And yes, I passed.
And who gave you that test? The authority?
Yes, it was administered by the authorities.
A police agency?
Yes, in Florence, Arizona.
Florence, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And you passed?
Oh, yes.
Okay. We'll get into how the polygraph works, and at that time we'll also be talking about countermeasures.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give you some advice in regards to those, but let me finish with you're taking some medication for some ailments that you have.
That's correct.
And you wrote those down here for me. What are those?
Well, no, actually I did not write the medications down at all.
Oh,
I wrote down the ailments. I didn't write the medications.
Oh, okay. What are the medications?
The medications are morphine sulfate, 60 milligrams, 2 tablets, 60 milligram tablets, 3 times a day for a total of 360 milligrams of morphine per day.
And when's the last time you took that?
Actually, I haven't taken morphine in almost a month.
Okay, so there's a medication that you haven't used in a month.
That's correct.
Okay, next.
I take hydrocodone, 325, meaning 10 milligrams of narcotic, 325 milligrams of acetaminophen. I take 2 tablets.
What's the
hydrocodone?
Loratab,
Loratab, I guess, is the better way to.
And when's the last time you took that?
I have not taken hydrocodone since last Sunday. And I take 8 tablets a day.
Are you taking anything that right now in the last 24 hours?
I have not taken anything other than 2 teaspoons of Allertan 3 days ago, and Allertan is a liquid allergy suspension medication. And the last time I took any of that was Tuesday evening.
2 to 3 days ago?
Yes, Tuesday evening.
Okay, so you don't really have any medication in your system?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Tell me about any ailments that you have, Larry.
I have a brain tumor that I am not treating, that I am allowing to take its natural course.
When's the last time it was looked at?
I guess about 6 months ago. I mean, like I said, it's not anything that I am actively treating. I have made my treatment decisions regarding that. I have asthma. I have heart disease. I have severe...
Heart disease, you say?
Yes.
What kind of heart disease?
I have some blockage. It was recommended by my physicians that I undergo an angiogram with the stents, and I declined that. I just have a problem with them sending a rotor-rooter up my leg into my heart and maybe taking a wrong turn somewhere. But I'm fine. I still get around, and I'm not taking medication.
Okay, we've got that.
I have severe allergies to just about every type of pollen. I also have food allergies.
Okay.
I have carpal tunnel syndrome that has...
Right or left?
Both. Bilateral.
Both?
Bilateral. I had carpal tunnel release performed bilaterally 3 times to, the best that it could be done, I guess.
Okay.
I have severe disc herniation in the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine.
L what?
The L2, 3, 5, S1, the T67, the C2,
That spine's in good shape, huh?
Oh yeah, it's in excellent shape. I have constant numbness in the right leg, and I do have mobility problems. I do live through quite a bit of pain, and I do have a difficult time moving around, getting up and down, but I survive.
On a scale of 1 to 10, are you in pain right now, and if so, how would you rate it?
Today, I would say right now my pain is rating at about a 6.5 to a 7.
Is it constant pain?
I do have constant pain. It does get more severe. I have also recently been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which makes it even more difficult to the touch. But, I tend to move around.
You're a pretty young guy, aren't you?
I'm 46.
Okay. That it for the medical history?
That's it. I don't know. Do you count the
Carotid?
gland? Yeah, they took the saliva gland out from the right side in December because of a tumor growing.
They got the tumor with it?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, let's teach you how a polygraph works.
Okay.
A polygraph, Larry, is a recording instrument. It records physiological changes in your system. Blood pressure, pulse rate, number of times your heart beats a minute, the strength with which it beats, changes in resistance in the system. It sends this information through a sensor box to a computer.
Okay.
The instrument cannot make a mistake. It's just a recording instrument.
Right.
It doesn't interpret anything. If it says your heart's beating 72 times a minute, heart's beating 72 times a minute. It doesn't say that's good or bad. What it records are processes that are not under your voluntary control. Records things that are controlled by what's called the autonomic nervous system. That's the part of your body that keeps you in balance emotionally, conditions called homeostasis, emotional equilibrium. Give you an idea how that gets out of balance if you perceive a threat to your immediate well-being. Somebody opens the door, points a gun at you.
Right.
You can sit right in that chair, Larry, but when you realize you're in danger, there's 3 things you can do. Fight, take the gun away. Flight, get out of here before you get shot. Or holding, sit still, be alert, why is this guy pointing a gun at me? How do I get out of this situation?
Right.
In order to do any of those 3 things, fight, flight, or holding, when you perceive danger, the body prepares for action. 26 things happen simultaneously that you can't control. Blood pressure goes up, heart rate increases, adrenaline secreted in the system. The pupils of your eyes dilate to allow more light to come in to see your enemy. The polygraph monitors the preparation for action so it can tell if you've perceived danger. What's that got to do with lie detection? When you were a little boy, somebody said, Lawrence, don't lie. And if you did lie, something negative happened. You got looked at or scolded. So we get conditioned as kids. You tell a lie, lies detected, something negative happens. When you grow up, you don't have to get punished. Merely telling the lie evokes the fear of the detection of the lie and something negative happening. So when you say something that isn't so, you get defensive, prepare for action. That's what the polygraph monitors. Now that's only one of 10 or 12 reasons that a lie creates a reaction on a polygraph.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Can we keep it to Larry?
Sure.
You just let and that's information that people have been trying to get on the internet, and I'm just trying to
What
keep
information?
my real first name. You
Oh,
just
but
said,
somebody who's called Larry would probably be a Lawrence, right?
Yep, that's
And
true.
if you said, we have
It's
a
out there
treasurer
now.
of the American Polygraph Association, and his name is Lawrence Wasser. He was the treasurer. Everybody called him Larry.
Yeah. I know. Sorry, it was just, I just noticed it came out and I'm like, okay, I'm dead in the water now.
So you're gonna be Larry.
Well, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now we've given you an idea how a polygraph works. Let's talk briefly about countermeasures.
Mm-hmm.
What are countermeasures? What does that mean?
To me?
Yeah, what do you think countermeasures are?
Well, if someone comes at you and, say they lunge at you, you take a countermeasure to either avoid it or put them down before they do you.
In regards to polygraph,
Mm-hmm.
what's a countermeasure?
I have no idea, other than maybe somebody sitting here thinking that they can will themselves to react differently.
Sure. Attempts to defeat the examination are countermeasures.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many countermeasures that people employ, and the problem is they make them fail the test.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to fail the test if you're telling the truth.
Correct.
So I would, if you've researched polygraph on the internet, stay away from countermeasures, because we have what are called countermeasures. So all that's going to happen, Larry,
Is you're going to make things worse.
is it's going to make things worse, and it's going to look ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody practices countermeasures, they fail the test. So even though the test might score truthful, if they've employed countermeasures, they wind up failing the test. And I don't want you to fail the test.
The funny thing is I haven't researched polygraphs on the internet, but everybody on the internet has been researching and saying all kinds of crazy things. So.
Okay. Well, that's just a word on countermeasures and an admonition not to employ them.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself, Larry. Where did you grow up? What have you done for a living? Tell me about yourself.
I was born in Camden, South Carolina. I was an extremely hyper and temperamental kid who was probably one of the first to come out to doctors at that time to be as hyper, as I was. I guess back then they called it uncontrollable or incorrigible. Let's see. I pretty much...
Did you grow up in South Carolina?
I left South Carolina in 1975. I did not live from the age of 6. Well, actually, I don't even want that information on this thing because this thing's going to broadcast on another. I did grow up in South Carolina. I moved to Colorado in 1975 to live with my mother. I am a college graduate. Well, let me rephrase it. I have the credits to graduate. I've just never actually applied for the graduation.
Where did you spend the majority of your college years?
Actually, I spent most of it hit and miss. I would say that the majority of my credits are from Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. I have some from Regis University out of Denver, Central Arizona College in Coolidge, Arizona, Cochise College in Douglas, Arizona, Pueblo Community College in Pueblo, Colorado. I mean, this.
I got the idea.
Yeah. Let's see. I do have some felony convictions, which I have been honest about, and I put out there from the very beginning, but no one wants to hear me, put them out there. They want to wait until someone else comes out and says...
What kind of problems have you had with the...
I have felony convictions for bad checks of my own, which would be theft by check, forging a counselor's name from Vision Quest back in 1980s to their checks, unauthorized use of credit cards that did not belong to me. Those convictions were between 1980 and 1986. I pled guilty to each and every one of them that I was guilty of doing. I've always been very responsible as far as if I do something and you catch me doing it, I'm going to admit to doing it.
Did you go to a county jail or state
I
prison?
actually did. I did do time in Florida, Arizona, and Colorado. I served my sentences. They have all been exhausted. Exhausted, discharged. I have been clean
So
for
did you go to a state prison?
I
or
did
county
go
jail?
to a state prison, and I have been clean for 22 years. And as far as any detailed information on those, I don't want to go into on the end. I'll answer your questions for the benefit of this, but I'm not going to give them other information that they just want to try to twist.
Okay, so you haven't had any run-ins in the last
22 years.
22 years. You were in criminal prisons. Have you ever been in a mental institution?
As an adult, once, because I tried to kill myself years ago over a relationship that I thought was there that wasn't, but outside of that, no.
And how long did they keep you for observation?
Like 14 days.
Mm-hmm. What state was that in?
Colorado.
Okay. Have you undergone any significant counseling or therapy?
In my adult years, no. In my hyperactive childhood years, before ADHD was ever diagnosed, I have to clarify that because I had made a reference that my situation as a child, I guess in today's, verbiage, you would refer to it as ADHD, and people are accusing me of going, well, it's not ADHD because it wasn't even diagnosed back then, but, I guess, no. As a child, and like I said, I was an extremely hyper and...
Do you look like any movie actor that I might be thinking of? I'm going to write his name down. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, who do you look like?
Everyone tells me two, or actually three. They either say Robin Williams.
What did I write down?
Robin Williams. And this is weird because in my adult years, everybody is saying Robin Williams. In the movie he did, Man of the Year, I was throwing a party back in Laredo, Texas, just last year, and had put on this hat, and everybody just started going, Robin Williams, and some people have actually said Mel Gibson, and I would think the Mel Gibson thing's the forehead, but I've had that my entire life. But yeah, it's funny, when I was younger, it was Richard Simmons.
Uh-huh.
And that was because I was skinny, which I'm not anymore, but I used to just have this frizzy, curly afro.
Somebody gave me a picture of you. See if I can find you here. Is that you in the middle?
That's me. That's me. But I'm being told that that is not me.
No, that is you.
But people on the internet are saying that that is not me. That is me in 1999. I have one to show you.
Show me.
Where did I show it? There's one from 1997. Of course, it's just a photocopy because, you turn your licenses in once you change them.
A much slimmer Larry.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. But yet that picture's 2 years older, and people say that that's not me.
What do they know? Okay, on with the biographical. So, you were living in Colorado, you've had some run-ins with the authorities, that's all behind you.
Correct.
What kind of work have you done in your life?
Well, shortly before I started running drugs back from Colorado to South Carolina, and I'm sure this is going to be a real good thing for people to throw back at my face. I was going to school full-time. I was taking care of developmentally disabled and elderly, and was very good at it. I was certified in G-tube feeding. I was certified in medication administration. I was certified in first aid. I have worked for Marriott Hotels. I worked for the Waldorf Astoria in New York. in 1980 something.
In what capacity?
I worked in their garmentier department in their food service division when Reagan did his big brouhaha there. I used to live here in California. I used to live in Santa Monica. I was the chef kitchen manager for Tony Roma's Santa Monica back in 1980, I want to say 83 or 84.
Do you remember who the district manager or the regional manager?
Terry, what the heck was Terry's last name? Well, there was a gentleman named Terry that was one. Then I'm trying to remember Joe's last name, who was Terry was actually the regional.
You know, the guy I'm thinking of is the guy who screwed everything up by changing the coleslaw. The coleslaw was great at Tony Roma's.
You know, everything
This guy insisted on changing the coleslaw.
Everything was until they went and started franchising out and started expanding the menu more. I'm trying to remember the lady, because my district manager, because I used to work at the Beverly Hills one over here, and I think it was on Camden or Cannon, right there. It used to be next to one of the cheesecake restaurants. But when I was out here last, I drove by there and it wasn't there anymore. I don't know if they closed it or relocated it. I mean, that's been years ago. I used to work for Westin Hotels. I opened the Westin Tabor Center in Denver as one of their housekeeping managers. Even though I applied for restaurant management, they actually asked me to go into their housekeeping department because they needed managers there more than they did in their food service. I worked for B&G Deliveries after I stopped running the drugs between 1998 and 2000. I went to work for B&G Delivery Systems in Sacramento, California. After a short, brief month of residing in Fresno, I moved to Sacramento, went to work with B&G Delivery Systems, and worked with them until the accident with the cabinets falling on me. That pretty much screwed my spine up.
What happened?
I was making a delivery in San Francisco. The original accident was making a delivery in San Francisco, and you don't deliver in teams, you deliver. B&G had a contract with American Woodmark, who was probably the top bathroom, kitchen, custom cabinet dealer out of Home Depot, Lowe's, and all these stores. The contract was Home Depot or Lowe's would sell the cabinets. American Woodmark would ship them to B&G Delivery Systems in Sacramento, and then B&G had a division that was specifically to deal with those deliveries. We would deliver to the residential customer that had purchased them from Home Depot anywhere from Bakersfield North all the way to the coast, Monterey, Santa Cruz, Bodega Bay, into north central Nevada, but as well as new home construction sites throughout the area. And I just happened to reach up to pull one cabinet down, and the truck was just tilted slightly, and this huge utility cabinet and two or three other smaller ones up above actually came down, and I worked around trying to use the back of my arms and my back to kind of keep it from falling, and instead they just all came.
That resulted in a workers' comp claim?
It did result in a workers' comp claim. However, I continued to work, even though the doctor had recommended light duty or me to take a break. I didn't, because we actually needed to get the cabinets out.
Any other important kind of employment that I should be familiar with to understand you?
I mean, I represented as an independent representative. I represented quite a few people before the California Labor Commission over wage disputes in the Sacramento region, as well as unemployment claims.
Do you have any hobbies?
Well, I like redoing things. I like redoing whether it's my home, whether it's
with your hands, you mean?
Well, I just...
Fix things, build things?
Actually, I've gotten really good at it lately. I mean, when my father was alive and he used to try to get me to pay attention, I never would. And now it seems like he almost passed it to me through just the force of will, because I've gotten to a point now to where I do. I like to fix things. I like to change the way things are decorated, the way things are, the color schemes. I mean, it's just...
Got it. Okay. Tell me, what is this all about? What brought you here to me today?
A crazy, outrageous challenge, in all honesty. I had posted a video on YouTube, and I did so out of pure desperation, because months of attempts to get presidential candidate Barack Obama to correct a misstatement that he was running on regarding his drug use and the extent of it and when it ended had gone unanswered. I had contacted this gentleman back in September of 2007 and asked that his campaign simply come out and state that, you know, the declaration that his drug use was limited to his teen and college years was...
You say you contacted...
I contacted the campaign. I did speak to an individual that was identified as an Axelrod aide in September. I had left a message of my name, that I was calling to ask to speak with Senator Obama, that I wanted Senator Obama to correct a statement made regarding his drug use as far as the time frames were concerned. I made it very clear I was not calling to threaten, to disclose, or you know, blackmail or anything like that. I just felt that if he was going to run as, you know, the President of the United States, if he was going to represent himself as being the transparent, the honest, totally upfront candidate, then I thought it was only fair that he be that person. I was told someone would get back with me. They didn't. I continued to try to contact them by phone, and every time I give my name, I was just hung up on. So I began emailing the campaign through their official website, and rather than getting a response from them, I got all of these solicitations asking me to donate to the campaign. So I had to actually go on there and unsubscribe my email address. When I finally realized in December that he was not going to correct this, I started putting feelers out to different media outlets, between the major newspapers, the Times, the New York Post. I'm not sure if the Boston Globe was contacted or not. I did not contact the Chicago Tribune originally. They had contacted me. And I was working with one reporter from the New York Post who was trying to get a feel, okay, is this guy for real? Is this guy some nut job? You know, and her editors were telling her, well, find out what you can. We were working well together to get all of the documentation together concerning my meeting with Mr. Obama. When she calls me one day and tells me that she doesn't think that the Post is going to run the story as quickly as I would like it to have been run. And I felt that it was a story that needed to get out there sooner as opposed to later. So I told her thank you. I continued to communicate with her, as I still do. And I just...
What was her name?
On camera? Jeannie McIntosh.
Jeannie?
Jeannie McIntosh.
McIntosh.
McIntosh, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
When it got to that point, I, out of pure desperation at that point to get this information out, because I thought it was an important enough story that the American public had a right to know before they went and cast a vote that they felt. And let's face it, this political season is probably the most interesting of all as far as the number of, the amount of turnout in these primaries and these caucuses. Even though it's only a small portion of the actual electorate come November, it's still a significant amount of people making a choice, and if you're going to make that choice, then you need to make it based on correct information. So, on correct information, I mean truthful.
On correct information.
Yeah, truthful information.
Okay, out of pure desperation.
Out of pure desperation, I got this idea because someone had said YouTube to me. And actually it came because one of the news programs were playing all these YouTube videos about Senator Obama. So I asked a neighbor friend of mine if she could help me, because I'm not good at making, internet videos. It's never interested me. I have no interest in it now. And I'm not one of those, edit, chop, splice, split, type people, and I just didn't want to get into it. And I told her, I said, you know what? I said, I just want to get the statement out there. I want it to be direct, to the point, and that's it. So she used her camera, actually, and was standing behind it to make sure that it was directed at me. And people claim that I'm reading cue cards, which I'm not. I'm trying to think and speak at the same time after the surgery here on the gland, because the right side of my face, even to this day, when I open my mouth, you'll notice the right side still doesn't. And it was difficult to speak, and I'm trying to think, because the chip in her camera only had like 3 minutes or something, and I wasn't even trying to do a full 3 minutes. So I got the statement out there. My choice of words, probably as far as done greatly, which people keep throwing at my face, with the choice of words may not have been the best, but it got the story out there.
And what in summary did you say, Larry?
Basically, I said that this was to bring out the fact that Senator Obama has lied about the extent of his drug use, that he was in fact using cocaine and crack cocaine as recently as November of 1999, and that I knew that he had because he had actually done so in my presence with me in the back of a limo in Chicago between the dates of November 3rd, 1999 and November 8th, 1999. And I specifically gave the date range of the trip as opposed to a specific date, because people would do what they've been doing now. They've been trying to discredit me by saying, well, you didn't meet him on this day because he was in Springfield on this day. And I said, I never said I met him on the 3rd or the 4th. I said I arrived on the 3rd, I left on the 8th. Now, since I have given a specific date, but I mean, people out here are going to do anything and everything in their power to try to discredit my statement. And believe me, they have gone to great extremes. I have been called a pedophile. I have been told, it has been posted that I live in an assisted living nursing home, which is not true. I have been told that I am on welfare. I am on disability. Disability and welfare are completely two different things. I am being accused of lying about having made money moving large quantities of marijuana and cocaine from Colorado to South Carolina during this period in question, which I'm not lying about. First-class limousine service in Columbia, South Carolina. Tony Fanning, who has become a dear friend of mine and has remained friends of mine, all these years, will tell you that, not only did I use his service, over a 3-4 month stretch of time, almost every day.
In what state?
In South Carolina. That all this money I was making, I was giving to complete strangers on the streets. I mean, I was paying the entire restaurant bills for anybody eating in the restaurant that we were eating in at the time. So people are making all these stories up about me, and they really don't know anything about me. You know, just as recently as last year, I was making, you know, decent money, doing something that probably wasn't quite so legal, but, you know, I was helping friends, and I was helping friends get across the border.
You're a coyote.
You know, but it's amazing because people are looking at me. I mean, you know, with my physical condition, I don't shave every day. You know, I don't, because I don't go out that much. If I go out, I shave. But if I'm not going out, if I'm not doing anything, I mean, you know, I'll let it go 4 or 5 days because it just hurts me to have to stand there and do it. So
let's go back on track.
Okay.
You were not paid attention to.
No, not that I wasn't paid attention to, because I want to be careful of words. I'm not out for the attention of it. I would have preferred that Senator Obama address the issue without any attention having to come to it.
Okay, and what was the bottom line of your effort on YouTube, was it? My
bottom line was to get Senator Obama to simply acknowledge the use, you know, that he did as recently as 1999 engage in cocaine use. You know, that was the bottom line.
Then how did that go to the sex business?
And see, that's the problem. I have to, if I'm going to come out and make an allegation, then I have to be completely honest about the allegation from minute one. I can't come out and say, well, I know you did coke in 1999, because, and leave any other part of the story out. Because if I do that, then people come back at me, which, you know, they've already tried to do, and say, well, how do you know? Well, I know because I was there with them doing it with them. Well, where? You know, and then eventually you have to say, well, it was this time because we were involved in the sex and drugs. And they go, well, why didn't you bring out the sex part when you first made the allegation about the drug use? And then they try to use that to call me a liar. So I had no choice but to bring the whole story out rather than just part of it. I'm not going to bring part of it out and have them throw it back in my face that I'm lying because I didn't tell the whole truth at the beginning.
Okay. Which do you want to start with to explain to me, the sex or the drugs?
I don't know how to explain it to you. I mean...
Well, if there was some kind of a relationship, short as it might have been, why don't you describe it for me? What happened?
Well, it's like I said.
How did you two get together?
I was introduced to Barack Obama by the limousine driver.
In what town?
I was introduced to him in Chicago.
Okay, in Chicago.
Yes, the driver actually picked me up at the hotel in Gurnee, which is a suburb of Chicago. I have referred to the Chicago area simply because I don't want to keep going back and forth between Chicago, Gurnee, Great Lakes, Chicago, Gurnee, Great Lakes.
Did you rent this limo?
I did. I had called and rented their services the night before as well, because of a graduation from Navy basic training at the Great Lakes Navy Training Center on the 5th of November.
Who graduated?
Well, it's the person I refer to as my godson. I am not putting names out there. This kid has nothing to do with this.
No, I just don't understand why you rented the limo.
I had made arrangements. I had actually rented the limo prior to that. Myself and the graduate's aunt and grandmother had went out one night in the limo as well, and this has been verified.
What limo service were you using?
I had used 5-star limo the entire time.
5-star limo.
Yep.
And how many different drivers did you have?
Actually, I had the same driver Friday and Saturday. In fact, the first night I do not believe I had the driver that I had on Friday and Saturday. But Friday and Saturday I did have the same driver because I had told the driver, as well as calling the service when I got back to my hotel Friday evening, that I was going to need their services on Saturday and that I wanted the same driver.
Who was the driver?
I cannot give you his name.
You can, but you won't.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
And is that to protect the driver?
Actually, it's at the driver's request. I have spoken with him.
So you have a way to communicate with him?
I have. And I
you
almost...
his phone number and stuff like that.
And I almost ruined that because I kept calling it reporter's request, and well, they just want to talk, they want to know if you'll talk to them if I pass on the phone, or if you'll call them from a block number, and it got to the point to where he would stop taking my calls for like 5 days, so I'm being very careful.
Well, if somebody said, because we're eventually getting to a polygraph examination, right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody said, but wouldn't that be excellent corroboration for the polygraph test to have an independent person say, yes, I was the driver and here's what I saw, or I saw Senator Obama with Larry, that would be excellent corroboration, wouldn't it?
Of course it would, and anybody in their right mind that would think that I'm not trying to convince this guy to come forward today would be completely nuts, because I'm the one that's catching the heat here. I'm the one that's being beaten down, and you know, so I mean, it's not, people continue to imply or accuse me of just absolutely refusing to do this. My thing is if I come out and give this driver's identity without his permission, then what do I risk losing? I risk losing that very corroboration. Corroboration. You have to understand right now and I'm glad you noticed it, because people are saying I'm a stutterer and I'm not, and it drives me crazy. I risk losing him coming forward and backing my story up. And if I have to choose between continuing to be beaten down as opposed to losing the one thing I need the most in this, I'll take the continued beating right now, because I know he will come forward. And, you know, there's a Chicago Tribune reporter right now that's in Mississippi trying to find the owner of Five Star Limo that apparently has moved to Mississippi because apparently they are related in some way or another. So he's hoping to get that information from another source other than me.
Okay, so you rented the limo for a number of nights.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me the night that you came across Mr. Obama, what was that about?
The driver, I had specifically spoken with the driver prior to even leaving the hotel that Saturday about wanting to spend the evening with someone not for sexual, this was not a sexual hookup of any kind whatsoever. Excuse me, can I loosen these?
Take them off.
Thanks, because my feet swell and they are driving me crazy. Thank you. This was not, as a lot of people have tried to twist it, this has nothing to do with a request for a sexual hookup. I actually just wanted to spend some time with someone who was intelligent, who knew Chicago, who enjoyed spending money, because I was enjoying spending it, you know, and just kick back with someone to see Chicago, someone to show me around. It was not a sexual thing whatsoever.
And were you in a hotel in Gurney?
I was in a hotel in Gurney,
Uh-huh.
and I had stayed at the hotel in Gurney because I had made the reservations at the last minute. I needed to be as close to the Navy Training Center as I could be. It was my first time in Chicago, and I really didn't want to have the hassle of fighting with traffic and figuring out when the hell I needed to be to get to the graduation.
What hotel was it?
It was the Comfort Inn and Suites.
Mm-hmm. And how far is Gurney from downtown Chicago?
Now, I have no idea.
I mean, is it half an hour? Or?
You know, I'm going to have to say, depending on what time and which way you're driving, I would say, yeah, maybe that. Maybe a little more depending on traffic, because I flew into Chicago O'Hare. I rented the car from Hertz, and I had directions from O'Hare straight to the hotel in Gurney. I did not drive from Gurney into the Chicago area myself. I pretty much stayed in the northern suburbs when I was driving.
Okay, so this limo picks you up, and you asked the driver if he knew somebody that...
He said that he had a friend, that he was going to introduce me to a friend of his. We're back down in the Rush Street area. We had been there the night before. Everybody keeps telling me that it's like I told Mr. Parisi. I am almost 99.9% certain that the name of the club was called Alibis. But I didn't want to give that name out until Citibank had finished researching the credit card statement that I had requested from them, because the exact name of the lounge is on that credit card statement, and I wanted to give nothing other than the absolute correct information.
Now, is that club in Chicago proper?
It's in Chicago, yes. We get down to the club. The driver opens the door on the driver's side, the rear driver's side door, and as he opens the door and I'm getting out, Senator Obama is standing next to the driver, and the driver introduces me to him as Barack Obama. Barack Obama introduces himself to me as Barack Obama. Okay? We go in as far as where Mr. Obama was prior to driving up. I have not stated that, nor will I state that, because I do not know. I do know that when the back door opened and I start to get out, I'm introduced to the gentleman. Okay?
And was he dressed in sport clothes, or was he dressed in
He was dressed
suit?
kind of preppy.
You've seen pictures of Senator Obama today.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the man minus the X number of years?
Oh, it's most definitely him.
You can identify him.
It's most definitely him. There's no doubt in my mind. I knew it was him when I was living in Mexico in 2004, and he gave a speech at the Democratic National Convention. Yeah, but the interest to me. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, take me back.
But the interest to me was of no concern. I mean, I was living in Mexico in 2004. He's an Illinois legislator running for U.S. Senate for a district in Illinois. So be it. Illinois is, Chicago is notorious for, politicians who have skeletons to hide. Everybody comes back and is beating me to death. Well, why didn't you say?
Yeah.
Sorry, Doctor, would you mind if I change the case real quick?
You want a bathroom break? Want a drink of water?
Well, we can take a break. I just need to stand up for a minute.
Go ahead, walk around.
Oh, okay.
You want water, Larry?
No, I'm fine.
You want a Coke? You want anything?
Actually, is there a Coke machine? I have money. I do need.
No, don't worry about that. I'm gonna have a Diet Coke.
Coke or Pepsi's fine, but not Diet.
Not Which would you prefer, Coke or Pepsi?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, whichever one's more convenient.
Well, there's a deli downstairs. I'm gonna have them send it up. So.
Pepsi, if they have it. Well, now I know why this is going to be as long as it's going to be.
I don't know how much longer you're doing it.
We haven't even got to the polygraph part yet.
Right.
And it's already what?
Alright, can you go sit back down? I just wanted to make sure that nothing changed while we was doing this.
I'm surprised you. How long are those tapes?
An hour, 60 minutes. And we're coming up right on, then we'll go over,
Aren't people going to accuse us of editing because we stopped them?
No. I mean, it's like...
Or are you going to edit them all into one to where...
I mean, we're not even going to broadcast the whole thing. So don't worry, like when there's things when he says, hey, like I don't want to say this on tape. Anything that like
oh, you heard me? It's because he said Lawrence.
Well, I mean, anything we're not going to...
Well, I'll be honest with you. If Dan decides he wants to air the whole thing, do it. I'm not going to hide anything anymore. I'm tired of trying to shield my name and all this crap. I mean, these people, it's kind of like he said the same thing, most people with any common sense, if someone is using the name Larry, then most likely their given name was Lawrence.
Okay, so, sorry for the intrusion, gentlemen.
they send that stuff up, Rob, tell Vivian to bring it in here, knock on the door.
Yes, Doctor.
So.
So, my question was, how was he dressed? You said preppy.
Yeah, he was more preppy, you know,
At that time, what was his position in the legislature, if any?
Actually, I didn't even know that he was in the Illinois legislature at the time.
Was he a state
It's
senator?
my understanding, everyone is telling me that he was a Illinois state senator.
State senator.
Okay? I did not know his, you know, in our conversations, he had let me know that he was in public service, that he was in the legal field, which is fine. I did not dig deeper.
Okay, so you met him, he introduced himself, you introduced yourself.
Yeah.
What did you guys do at that point?
We're in the bar, we go into the bar. I say back because I figured, I just assumed, and maybe I should
This
have
is
said.
maybe this alibi place? Or
Yes.
the name of it?
Right.
And what week, what day of the week is it?
Saturday.
In the evening?
Yes. Early
Sometime
evening.
in November?
It was actually November 6th.
1999. Go ahead, what happened then?
Well, we go in and we sit down, we're having drinks, we're talking just casual, you know, off the wall stuff. I'm not getting too personal, he's not getting too personal. It was not my intent to get to know someone deep, in depth, and, you know, get into all the family drama or whatever.
Remember what he was drinking?
He was drinking Crown or Chivas. I know he was drinking, I'm going to say he was drinking Crown Royal or Chivas. It was one of the two because I had both of them in the limo when we left the bar as well. So.
Okay, what happened then?
The interesting thing is, like I said, I had made a comment to him that I could really use a line to wake up. And everyone says, well, why would you make that statement to someone you don't know? I've always been very good at knowing who I feel comfortable enough around to say things to. You know, and anybody that tries to come back at me and say, oh, nobody can feel that, bullshit. Okay? That's my response to him at this point. But I had made that statement, and he had looked at me and asked me if I was referring to Coke, and I told him that I was. And he had made a phone call, and he stated that he could get it for me. And about 5 minutes later, we leave and get back in the limo.
Oh, did he leave and make a phone call?
No, he had a cell phone with him.
And he called somebody on a cell phone?
Yep.
Did you overhear the conversation from one side?
I just heard the conversation as far as saying that he had a friend that was looking for something, you know, can you get it for him? And that was pretty much it. And that's like I said, he told me he could get it for me, so we got up, we walk out. As we're getting back in the limo, he's telling the driver, you know, where it is we're going. I'm not paying that much attention to it. I had already had, I would say, easily 3 or 4 double absolute screwdrivers and tall glasses, which is it was either Absolute or Grey Goose because it's the only thing I'll drink. And back in '99, I was a real Absolute fan.
Don't like Belvedere, huh?
Yeah. Well, I do now, but Absolute has kind of lost its hint. I was a real citron nut for a while there, and then switched to mandarin, and I do like the red grapefruit. But
okay.
But we get in the car, drive about 30 minutes, and we're just sitting there talking and continuing to drink in the car. We stop. He gets out. The driver didn't even open the door for him. He actually told the driver he could. He gets out on his own. I had given him $250 in the limo in which to pay for the Coke that I had asked for. I had asked for an 8-ball. He comes back about 5 minutes later.
What's an 8-ball?
An 8-ball is 1/8 of an ounce, which equals to approximately 3.5 grams.
Is it just cocaine?
I had specifically said I wanted powder because I only snorted at the time.
Okay.
He comes back about 5 minutes later, gets back in the car. He hands me a small packet. I take the CD case out. I rest it up against his left knee. I kind of slide down off the seat into the floorboard, so to speak, for the height. I pour some out, take a credit card, smash it up, set up a line, roll up a dollar bill. I snort a line. I start to rub down his left leg, towards his crotch area, and notice that he becomes semi-erect. And as I'm going down to do another line, he starts to run his fingers through my hair and on the ear right here while I'm doing the line. And I notice as I come up from doing another line that he has actually unbuckled his pants, unzipped them, and he's all exposed. Where are we going from here? Continue?
You were there, I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just trying to figure out. I have to be careful how much detail it gets because they're talking about broadcasting this stuff on the internet. I make the move and go over and actually start to perform oral sex on him. And it's shortly after that I realize I see him pull out another packet from his pocket, and he has a small glass cylinder in his hand. And he asked me if he can borrow my lighter. I get up off of him, reach over to the side of the limo, has a glass holder here, where I had my cigarettes and my lighter were sitting, and I grabbed the lighter and passed it over to him. And he's taking out a rock and putting it in the cylinder, and he looks at me and he asks me if I want any. And I had told him, no thank you, that I only snort.
Yes. Just give it to Larry and we'll...
Thank you. Looks like somebody likes papaya or mango, huh?
Well, I thought you might like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a fourth in there?
Yes.
Do you like mango?
No, actually I don't.
Okay, just leave it there.
Okay. Thank you. So he starts to smoke, and he makes this comment to me that it actually makes him harder. Now, at first I stopped to think for, a slight moment, maybe I'm thinking, well, maybe that's a little weird, but then again, I know some friends of mine that actually snort coke and become more sexually active than others who would snort coke and couldn't get sexually excited.
Before he got to the cylinder, where had the sex act ended? Did he have an orgasm? Did you?
No, he didn't have an orgasm before he pulled the cylinder out. That's what I'm saying. I actually returned to performing oral sex on him after he started smoking.
Okay. No condoms or anything?
No.
Lips to skin?
Well, if you want to put it that way, I guess, yeah, that's about the best way to describe it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. He had smoked a rock. I went back down on him. I did finish. And,
what does that mean?
I mean, he had his orgasm. I came up. I actually kind of leaned on his chest a little bit. He had actually kissed the side of my neck. In my ear, he continued to rub his fingers through my hair and tracing the outlines of my ear while I was performing oral sex on him. After the sex act was complete, and I'm trying to be as clean, and because, like I said, I know what they're planning to do with this, and I'm not trying to sensationalize anything any more than what everyone has already done. We just sat back for a while. Like I said, we continued to talk for a little while. I was pretty much at the point where I was tired and wanted to call it a night, and I had made that comment, that it was about time for me to call it a night. Senator Obama and the driver himself had made the suggestion that it would be easier if they dropped me off at the hotel first, and the driver would take Senator Obama back to his car. I had not seen his car from the minute I had met it anyway, so I had no idea where he was parked. I did tell him I enjoyed myself, that I had a great evening. He had made the comment that if I, maybe we would see each other again if I was back in the Chicago area. There were no phone numbers exchanged, no contact information exchanged. I just took it as him assuming that if I was back in the area and called 5-Star Limo, then his friend would know how to get in touch with him. I go back up to my hotel room. When I get out of the limo, I stop long enough to sign the paperwork with the limo driver. I have to sign the end time or the cutoff time or whatever, and his tip. And then I go upstairs. The next day, when he shows up at the hotel room, it is a total shock to me. I do not recall telling him what room number I was in. I know the driver did know what room number I was in, because it was on the paperwork, plus he had to call and let me know that he was downstairs when he came to pick me up. The second incident where Senator Obama showed up to the hotel the next day, it was a very brief incident. It was nothing more than a quickie on the sexting. He did arrive with more drugs for myself and for him. He offered the drugs to me, and I told him I still had some from the night before.
Was it Saturday or?
It was Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
The what?
Would have been the 7th.
7th
Mm-hmm.
of November, 1999.
Yeah.
Okay, and he shows up at your hotel, the Comfort Inn.
Yeah.
And he has some drugs with him?
He has crack cocaine with him as well. He has more coke that he brought to me, asking me if I wanted it, and I had told him that I had still had some from the night before. I did not approach him sexually at this point. I was somewhat shocked when I opened the door and saw him standing there. I did invite him in. Senator Obama himself was the one that initiated the sex act on the second occasion.
How did he do that?
He did it very blatantly and very boldly. We walked back into the room. He walked over to the edge of the bed and simply unzipped his pants.
And this is a suite hotel, right?
It's the Comfort Inn and Suites is the name of the hotel they had. Back in '99, Comfort Inn was a new brand that Choice Hotels was trying to put out there. Since then, they've refined it. They've separated the two to where now they're two actually separate hotels. There's Comfort Inn and Comfort Suites. Comfort Suites is all suites. Comfort Inn and Suites they were standard hotel rooms, or, they did have a few suites, on the property.
So he unzips his pants, then what happened?
I thought we were doing a polygraph.
Well,
Oh, no, I understand. No, he unzips his pants, and, it was very clear what he had come for. He has the glass cylinder with him again. He fires up a rock. I'm down on my knees, and like I said, this was nothing more than a quickie. The entire event was over with, in and out, in 30, 40 minutes at the most. I'm thinking.
Did a double entendre in and out?
Yeah, coming like that.
Any reciprocity this time, or just you going down on him?
No, just me going down. And I've never, and I'm glad you said that, because never once have I ever implied or stated that Senator Obama reciprocated anything sexually. It was strictly, him being the pitcher and me being the catcher, so to speak.
He was the pitcher, and you were the catcher. Okay. Okay, is that the end of the sex situation?
That's the end of everything. That's the end of me even seeing him again.
Larry, Did you perform oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
Do you understand that question?
Yes.
What am I asking you?
You're asking me if I sucked on Senator Obama's penis, and I'm saying yes, I did.
Okay. Are you lying when you say you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
No.
Do you understand that question?
Yes.
What am I asking you, Larry?
You're asking me if I'm making this up?
Do you plan to tell the truth on this test about whether you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
Let's try those three questions right in a row.
Okay.
Did you perform oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
Are you lying when you say you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
No.
Do you plan to tell the truth on this test about whether you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
The next three questions, we've just reviewed three questions for the polygraph test.
Mm-hmm.
The next three questions, Larry, are called pre-incident indicators.
Okay.
In psychology, we know that human nature is in the main predictable. The way you are today is pretty much the way you're going to be tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The way you are today is pretty much the way you were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That being the case, if an event occurs, you can usually see a pattern of conduct leading up to that event. Example, $10,000 missing from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
The police come out and they say, who did this? Nobody knows.
Right.
They call the FBI, it's a federally insured depository.
Mm-hmm.
They have psychologists. They go to the crime scene and they say, whoever did this, took that $10,000, has probably stolen before.
Mm-hmm.
A pattern of conduct leading up to an event. When you come up with two or three of those things, you wind up with a hillside strangler, the nice robbery. That's like profiling. They have a television show called The Profiler. So here we have a representation that you're making.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want to do with this polygraph test is show that you can be believed.
Okay.
We want to show that you're a truth teller. We want to show that you're not the kind of guy who makes up lies for personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a deceitful person who tries to appear truthful when you know you're lying, like a car salesman. You know, they'll look you right in the eye and they'll try to appear truthful.
Yeah, they
when
tell
they
you
know
that the
they're
car's
lying.
in perfect condition,
Sure.
and then a week after you buy it off of them, the head gasket blows. Go ahead.
We're trying to show you don't manufacture false stories to get out of trouble, make up a story about it. So these are extremely important questions because they give us a selling point in regards to polygraph. We want to show you're a truth teller, you're not a deceitful person, you don't manufacture stories to get out of trouble. So I'm going to ask you, unrelated to this matter that we've been discussing, unrelated to this matter, did you ever lie for revenge or personal gain? Those are the no-nos. We want to show that's not your style. You don't go around telling lies for personal gain, do you? That's not your style, is it?
Personal gain? No.
Or, no.
Well, it's the way you ask that question, you have to think about it, because you say, have you ever lied for revenge or something?
You've got it. You don't do that, do you?
No, but I had to think about it because, see, as a kid, you know how sometimes you might say things, to get even with somebody, but no.
So your answer is no.
Yeah.
The question was, unrelated to this matter, did you ever lie for revenge or personal gain? You understand the question?
Yes, I did.
Next question. Unrelated to this matter, did you ever try to appear truthful when you knew you were lying? That's the deceitful person who looks you right in the eye and lies to you. Not around the corner, but you don't look people right in the eye and lie to them. You don't seem to be that kind of person. You seem to be candid.
I have,
Yeah.
but not for the. I have in an effort not to hurt someone's feelings.
Well.
So I mean, I'm telling you, that's why I have to understand the context of the question, because I have looked a friend of mine in the eye and actually just flat out lied to them just because I didn't want to hurt their feelings.
You did that once. You don't do that all the
Oh
time.
no, I don't do it all the time. No.
If I ask you, unrelated to this matter, did you ever try to appear truthful when you knew you were lying more than once? What would the answer be?
No.
Okay. So I'll ask you, unrelated to this matter, did you ever try to appear truthful when you knew you were lying more than once? Because you told me about that time. I'm going to ask you, unrelated to this matter, did you ever manufacture a false story to get out of trouble? You don't make up stories to get out of trouble,
No.
do you, Larry? Do you understand the question?
I do.
What am I asking you?
You're asking me if I've ever said something that wasn't true just because I didn't want to accept responsibility for what I had done.
You got it. You got it. Let's try those three questions right in a row.
Okay.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever lie for revenge or personal gain?
No.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever try to appear truthful when you knew you were lying more than once?
No.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever manufacture a false story to get out of trouble?
No.
Are you now sitting down?
Yes.
The last two questions I'm going to review with you, Larry, are to assure me that you understand there are no other questions on this test.
Okay.
I'm going to say, are you convinced I will not ask you an unreviewed question?
Yes.
I'm going to say, is there something else you're afraid I'll ask you a question about, even though I told you I would not?
No.
That's the test. The mechanics of the test, you're going to sit in that black chair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get you adjusted into the polygraph. I'll ask you these questions 25 seconds apart.
Okay.
We'll get all through, stop and relax. Same questions again. The third time we'll probably wrap it up.
Damn, 3 different times.
Now, before I do that, I want to ask you, are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed. Looking for a pen?
No, I want a red one.
Oh.
Pick a number between 2 and 10, Larry.
And give it to you?
Sure.
Let's split it right down the middle. 5. Well, it's not right down the middle.
Right hand, I want a large 5 in the middle of the page. Big 5. What number did you write?
5.
Nice looking 5.
Right.
I'm going to write 3, 4, 6, and 7. You wrote the 5.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to intentionally lie to me. I'm going to ask you, did you write any of these numbers? I want you to say no to everything, including the 5.
Okay.
So you'll be lying on the 5.
Okay.
Let's practice one time. Larry, did you write the 3?
No.
Larry, did you write the 4?
No.
Larry, did you write the 5?
No.
Larry, did you write the 6?
No.
Larry, did you write the 7?
No.
Very good.
In other words, I just keep saying no.
That's right. Here's what's going to happen. Your blood pressure is going to rise anticipating the 5. Then it's going to drop off. But I want you to play any mental game, not physical, but mental game, not to have that happen.
Okay.
Try not to have a reaction on the number 5.
Okay.
You got the idea?
So you're telling me to try a countermeasure.
I want you not to have a reaction
Okay.
on the number 5.
Okay.
Any way you want to do it.
Or try to control it.
No reaction on
Okay.
the number 5. You have to go to the bathroom or anything?
I think I might. And I'm going in my socks.
That's okay. I'm going to go down there anyway.
we don't need a doctor, so you get one there and one here, get him at all times, and that when you move
I
it.
want to get his face. He's going to be sitting there.
Let's get also in there. You want to sit on that?
Yeah.
It's a thing they use for the sphincter. That's it.
The sphincter. You're sitting on the sphincter.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, hold on a second.
What happened? 4? Well, you have to just move the cameras a little bit this way, yeah, that's all.
Look, I mean, look at that thing.
Okay.
You see what I mean? I'll be able to do something here. I was just doing it with 2 angles. When he's doing
Yeah, but I would keep one chair, because you go from chair to chair, so you run, you gotta go, just run one there, run one this way.
He's going from chair to chair.
Is he?
He's going to get in this chair.
Is he right now getting on the chair?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's why I was moving.
Okay, so he said, okay, so he's going over there.
If he moves, I'll move it back real quick. I just want to get it set up here. This one is the longer. So this.
You can go over to the, you can, the battery's in anywhere, right? So the battery or what?
No, I don't have the battery.
Okay.
Oh, that's what I can do. We can just use the battery instead of the plugs.
You might as well just plug it in. Yeah, you know, in the back, plug it in.
He plugged that in. Power cord.
That does not like it because he is in fact quite professional, but he's also a
Why don't
quadriplegic.
you sit over here on this?
Okay. He's a quadriplegic. Gee, the pad stays
Yeah,
there?
sit right there on that chair.
No electric shock.
No electric I'll be back in a moment.
It's like I'm sitting on an electrical pad and he's going to shoot my ass up to the ceiling. I give you guys credit. The man seems to be extremely competent.
Yeah, he's one of the foremost experts, yeah.
Okay, Dan, fill me in. What's your plans here? I know you got something big in that head of yours. What are you planning?
No, I was waiting, trying to get, get to the truth. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, God help you and me both if you're working for Obama and that
Oh,
kind
what?
of thing. I'm teasing. Relax.
Okay. So let me ask you one thing. When the limo driver first called, whatever his name is, the Obama, did he use his cell phone to call him?
The limo driver had used the cell phone.
He called him out, okay. Oh, sorry, there should be 2 records, okay.
Oh, I see where you're going because I gave you the last name.
No, I'm just saying, because the gentleman, right, you're told the limo driver, I mean, he has 2 things to corroborate what he has. He has a cell phone record going out, and 2 gifts, that's all I can get.
No more
Okay.
discussion.
Yes, sir.
So what's the pad under me?
That's the wiggle pad.
A wiggle pad? Well, you know I do wiggle.
Yeah.
So.
But there's a certain type of wiggle that's part of the countermeasure process, and that tells me if somebody's doing something like that.
Oh, well here, let me loosen my pants then real quick. Because I don't want it to be misread. And let me, because I think you can tell I do tend to move around a lot in the chair. Oh, I like the arm pads on these things.
It's comfortable, really comfortable chair.
you're actually going to record the responses from the computer?
No.
Oh.
Can't see
Please remain here. Move my file one more time.
Just need 2 minutes, Doctor. Move this to the other side. Hey, dude. James, can you move this one side left?
Maybe that's the type of camera I should have used to record my video, and they wouldn't have called me such an amateur, huh?
Looks classy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Rob, I'm going to be getting up to adjust the instrument, the attachments, and then I'm going to come sit back here.
Okay. Okay, let's close it. Can I set this up somewhere?
You can put it over there. Wait, there.
And when you ask the questions, will be in general direction.
Oh, yeah, I'll be sitting right here asking the questions.
Who came up with those questions, you? It almost feels like sitting in the electric chair just
But you
waiting
can
for
get
the
up and
start.
walk away from this one.
Oh. No, I ain't trying to walk away.
Okay, we're ready.
Both cameras rolling now, and the other one's rolling?
Make sure the microphone. Yeah, the microphone. Like, give me a test into the microphone. I'll be able to see it on the screen. We don't have to play that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, it's not.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We're good to go. Good to go.
Okay, Larry, let me remind you what we're doing. You're going to say no to all of the numbers, including the 5. Try not to have a reaction on the number 5.
Okay.
The questions in a polygraph test come about 25 seconds apart.
Okay.
So after you say yes or no, you'll wait about 20 more seconds till the next question.
Okay. Nothing personal, but that wiggle pad is going to irritate my butt.
Well, so be it. This goes around your waist, Larry.
Okay. Around my waist or around my stomach?
Well, wherever I put it. This one goes around the heart area. I want you to raise your arms for me.
Oh.
Left arm's going to do blood pressure.
Okay, hang on, I got that. That's the only thing is, with all these ailments, clothing irritates parts of me, and I just start pulling at it, so.
Well, this is going to be inflated with air. You know how that works.
Yes, sir.
And after it's inflated, I'm going to go like that to evenly distribute the air in the cup.
Okay.
This goes on your fingers. You smoke?
Yep.
How many packs a day?
Some days 1, some days 4.
Now, this is good time for you because you're not smoking right now, and that's healthy for your lungs. Put some clean air in there. Okay, I want you to look at the white piece of paper.
Okay.
Say no to everything, including the 5, and try not to have a reaction on the number 5.
Okay.
It'll take about 15, 20 seconds for me to balance you into the polygraph. Here we go. It's looking good. Excellent. You'll feel the blood pressure cuff now as I inflate it to monitor your blood pressure. White piece of paper.
Yeah, I know,
White
sorry.
piece of paper. Now I'm going to smooth the cuff down on your arm to evenly distribute the air, and we'll start the questions.
Okay.
Remain still, the test is about to begin. Regarding the number you wrote, did you write the number 3?
No.
Did you write the number 4?
No.
Did you write the number 5?
No.
Did you write the number 6?
No.
Did you write the number 7?
No.
Relax.
Oh, thank you, because that thing was starting to hurt my arm.
That was excellent. What we have done, Larry, is program for what a lie looks like. Now the computer understands what happens physiologically when you tell a lie. So we have a basis of comparison. Okay, sit and relax while I set us up for the questions that we have reviewed.
Only problem is these things kind of constrict the breathing, and then if
Now
I'm
you were
thinking...
doing fine.
Okay.
We're all set. I want you to look straight ahead, try not to move, answer the question simply yes or no. There'll only be those questions that we have reviewed. The questions will come 25 seconds apart. Here we go. You feel the blood pressure cuff is uninflated. Very good. Remain still. The test is about to begin. Are you now sitting down?
Yes.
Do you plan to tell the truth on this test about whether you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
Are you convinced I'll not ask you an unreviewed question?
Yes.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever lie for revenge or personal gain?
No.
Did you perform oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever try to appear truthful when you knew you were lying more than once?
No.
Are you lying when you say you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
No.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever manufacture a false story to get out of trouble?
No.
Is there something else you're afraid I'll ask you a question about, even though I told you I would not?
No.
Remain still for 10 seconds, please. Relax.
Oh, thank you. Look at the color of my arm. That's what
Nothing personal.
Oh, no, I understand that. That's the only thing that scares me, because when you cut off the circulation, doesn't that affect the other parts of the body you're testing?
No, we're not really cutting it off. We're just monitoring that brachial artery.
Okay. Yeah, but sometimes when you ask the question, I get ready to yawn or breathe in, and I don't know if to go ahead and breathe in and then wait and answer the question or not.
Just be normal. Okay, on this chart, what we're going to do is ask you the same questions in a different order. I want you to answer the questions in your head, but not out loud. Got it?
So this
You're
is
gonna
one
hear
of
the
the
question.
3 times?
You're going to hear the question. At the end of the question, in your head, answer yes or no, but do not answer verbally.
Okay.
Do not answer out loud. The computer will pick it up without you doing anything.
Okay.
Okay, look straight ahead, try not to move. Do not answer the questions verbally, answer them in your head. Here we go. You'll feel the blood pressure cuff as I inflate it. Remain still, the test is about to begin. Are you now sitting down? Do you plan to tell the truth on this test about whether you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999? Are you convinced I will not ask you an unreviewed question? Unrelated to this matter, did you ever manufacture a false story to get out of trouble? Did you perform oral sex on Obama in 1999? Unrelated to this matter, did you ever lie for revenge or personal gain? are you lying when you say you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999? Unrelated to this matter, did you ever try to appear truthful when you knew you were lying more than once? Is there something else you're afraid I'll ask you a question about, even though I told you I wouldn't? Remain still for 10 seconds, please.
Oh, that is always the problem I have. I just this. And I need to, can I wiggle now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I definitely need to wiggle. Now see, that's the first time I've ever known that to be asked a question to answer it in your head. I need to adjust real quickly because if I don't, my butt's starting to feel.
On this chart, Larry, I want you to answer the questions out loud like you did on the first chart.
Okay.
Look straight ahead, try not to move, answer the question simply yes or no.
This is the third take, huh?
Here we go. Blood pressure cuff. Remain still, the test is about to begin. Are you now sitting down?
Yes.
If you're having a little difficulty in an area of the test, Larry, if you still have difficulty with the same area, I'll discuss it with you at the end of the test. Remember, all of the questions must have been answered 100% truthfully. There's no room for any error. Here we go. Do you plan to tell the truth on this test about whether you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
Are you convinced I'll not ask you an unreviewed question?
Yes.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever try to appear truthful when you knew you were lying more than once?
No.
did you perform oral sex on Obama in 1999?
Yes.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever manufacture a false story to get out of trouble?
No.
Are you lying when you say you performed oral sex on Obama in 1999?
No.
Unrelated to this matter, did you ever lie for revenge or personal gain?
No.
Is there something else you're afraid I'll ask you a question about, even though I told you I wouldn't?
No.
Remain still for 10 seconds, please.
Can I move yet?
Yes, you can.
Oh, good. Because that's what I was scared. I was sliding, I was slipping, and I'm going, no, no, no. Oh, and that first question, I was kind of gagging when I came out with yes, so sorry about that.
Okay, I want you to sit there with your eyes closed for a couple of minutes, just relaxing.
Can I ask a question?
Hold on a second, just sit there and relax. What's the question?
Oh. All right, now you just made me forget.
I didn't make
I'm
you
sorry.
forget it,
No.
you forgot it.
No, I didn't mean you made me forget. I was just saying, now I just forgot. Never mind.
We'll bring it back. Just sit and relax with your eyes closed. Just relax for a minute.
Oh, now I know what the
That's
question
how
was.
I did it.
Thanks. Now I know what the question was. Is this really going to take 4 or 5 or 6 hours, like you said?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I want you to just sit over where you were sitting before, and we're going to take a break.
You know,
What?
I kind of like the fact that you made it clear that you can get up and walk out on this one. Because it does kind of make you think electric chair.
That's fine.
But that thing hurts him across the chest, though.
drink your Pepsi. I'll be back with you in less than 5.
Okay.